Any one change can seem like a small risk, but when you pile them all on top of each other, it's like, man, that's like a Jenga tower. You're going to pull the brick out at the bottom or it fails.
The Jenga tower Coke CEO James Quincy is referring to is the entire Coca-Cola empire, comprised of 400 brands. In October of last year, Quincy announced he was killing off half of the company's portfolio.
Give me a tab.
Tab? I can't give you a tab unless you order something.
And not everybody was happy about it.
It was like where you were when Kennedy was shot. I'll never forget where I was when someone called and said, you're not going to be able to get Tab anymore.
He says some people even had funerals for the brands.
So if you need any Tab art to mourn the loss of Tab, just DM us and we'll make you some cool stuff.
Well, I did receive a lot of feedback from some consumers who were very disappointed that we were sunsetting some of the brands. And so, yes, it was very hard for some consumers to move on from those brands. Hopefully, we provided them other brands to go to.
And how many brands has Coca-Cola eliminated during your time as CEO?
By the time we get to the end of next year, I think we'll be at about 200. That will be almost half the brands we owned, but it was only 2% of the sales. You have a very big difference between the fastest selling and the biggest brands and products and some of the slow ones that are just occupying space, like the furring up of the arteries, if you like. And so you have to clean them out.
Despite the pushback, Quincy said the decision wasn't particularly difficult.
I'm an engineer at heart and a rationalist, and it would be fair to say early on in my career, when really the company was first starting to drive much harder into innovation, you learn the lesson that no matter how close you get to a brand, how much history you have with it, you have to be willing to make the rational decision for the benefit of the bigger portfolio.
So of those 200 brands that you have axed, were some of them historically understood to not be touched when you took over as CEO? Like, no, this is gonna live on even though it might not on paper make sense.
Yeah, I mean, several of those brands' previous CEOs have tried to sunset them as well and make them go away. There's a tendency of the organization to head towards, well, that's the way we've always done it. We are very successful, therefore, even though I'm not sure what role this brand plays, it must be a part of the overall success formula. So the being able to stand back and disaggregate and say, yes, we've been very successful. That doesn't mean everything we do all the time is the best, is world class, is something we should keep into the future. But I saw my opportunity this time.
That opportunity was the global pandemic. Once Coke had a framework to deal with the immediate crisis, he knew he had to think bigger.
The biggest risk, I think, was right in that pandemic moment, right in the second quarter of 2020, right in April, May. I mean, the world was ending, volumes were falling, double digits at Coca-Cola, everything was locked down. The supply chain was clogging up around the world. What are we going to do? Actually, we stopped trying to manage the day-to-day and we started to focus on, okay, this crisis is going to end. And when this crisis ends, do we want to be known for just managing through the crisis? Or do we want to be known for having emerged stronger and being ready to have much more growth when the crisis ends, which is how we came to the decisions around trimming the portfolio, changing the way we work as an organization, changing the focus on what we invest on, because we immediately shifted, almost immediately within the crisis, to a focus on the future, on how do we get ready for 2022.
So because you guys just act such a huge percentage of your brands, should we expect now a tidal wave of new products, Coca-Cola products, hitting the shelves?
In a way, yes. In a way, see it like that we took the opportunity to take away the weakest half of the portfolio, and now that the world is reopening, people want to go out, be social, experiment, look for new things and new opportunities. Now is the time to come out with new innovations and new products.
And even though Quincy says he's had regrets, discontinuing these brands has breathed new life in the company's appetite for experimentation.
I think that has given the organization, the system, more belief that actually risks can be taken. I mean, we tended to over-research things and hesitate because something could have gone wrong. We forgot about the idea that something could have gone right. We humans are programmed to overweight by far things we lose versus things we might gain. Risk-taking and innovation is not to let the fear of what you're going to lose obscure the possibility of what you might gain.